This video is sponsored by Kaamos Metal Cruise 2023.
Amassing the bodies and pits as they die, sentient and filthy they rot. Flammable and singing, discarded like waste. For the fire of the handgun, you played it all wrong. And soul and valor.
Hails and welcome to Rauta's preview of a metal cruise running between Finland and Sweden, Turku and Stockholm this September. So this is Kaamos Metal Cruise. Kaamos is a concept related to Nordic countries when it gets really dark and all that stuff. You don't barely get to see daylight and all. So very fitting name for these kind of cruises. Now this is a new concept, but it's very much tied to some of the previous cruises which had a kind of a similar thing going on. Nordic metal cruises had like two bands, one direction, another two bands for one other direction. So basically when you would leave Turku, Finland, towards Sweden, you would see two bands in that evening and another two coming back, plus you had a little bit DJs. Now Kaamos Metal Cruise is almost like that, but something more, because now you have actually three bands per direction, or at least six in total. I don't know how the actual program will hold when it's done, but at least so far it seems pretty interesting. And as far as I can tell, a Rauta crew is going there to do some interview, hopefully, and get you a little bit overview what's happening. What's interesting, however, is this lineup. Now, some would say neither of these bands are exactly right up my alley, but that would be a little bit misleading because for a couple of reasons. Now, I don't know Atlas or Pressure Point's music, so I really can't comment them. I only know these bands by names, but the other four bands are something that I can at least to some degree comment and say color me interested in them. So as you can see, the lineup is mostly made of these three bigger bands: Tiamat from Sweden, Venom Inc. obviously from United Kingdom, and Biased from Denmark. Now Tiamat has always been a kind of a tricky one, because when they started with death metal of Swedish style, they later on became kind of a gothic metal band, and one could even say kind of a gothic rock in so many ways. But it's been always evolving, always constantly changing band with a lot of interesting songs and good albums, mind you. So it's definitely something that I haven't even seen live, but I'm very keen to see that. And one could say, yeah, it's one of the things here I want to see the most, maybe mostly, because I haven't seen it. Venoming, then again, is obviously tapping to old school black metal. I mean, we're talking about first wave and as such black metal classics, but also the kind of what people would say new wave of British heavy metal since 1970s. And because of having those classic songs like black metal and what have you, it's gonna be interesting. Now, it's not exactly my favorite kind of stuff, but seen them once before, so once again I'm interested to see them again. And definitely, if possible, interview would be golden. I mean, you really can't go more to the roots of black metal than having bands like Bathory, Venom and Celtic Frost. And of course, Bathory is out of question when it comes to interviews. Celtic Frost, luckily I've gotten done. So Venom Inc. would be definitely very interesting to get there. But at the moment, I have no idea which bands are definitely up for interview and whatnot. So that it will remain to be seen later on. And then we have Biased, in my opinion, probably the best Danish death metal band from Denmark. And saw them actually this June in my home city, and they played a good show. Their albums, solid. I mean, I've liked them since the very beginning, and what can I say? It will be pleasure to see them again and hopefully pick their brains a little bit. Then last but not least, we have Suotana from Finland, which features actually one of my friends playing in the band, and I already reviewed their latest album this spring on Rauta, which is kind of a combination of folkier melodic metals flirting with a little bit of black metal and all that stuff. And I can say it's actually pretty good of a band, even if it's not like right there in the black metal department, but certainly solid ideas with the band as well, and it will be interesting to see how they perform live, especially when their new album is quite good indeed. And of course, this would be one of the bands to interview. So this is very interesting lineup because they are quite different. It's not like catering to one need only. I mean, you have death metal, you have black metal, you have the kind of gothic metal, you have the kind of a folkier metal, and then two other bands, which, like I said, I'm not familiar with. And on top of that, these cruises are always a lot of fun. I'm talking as a perspective coming from a guy who has been living most of his lives in this seaside city called Turku. And of course, since we were like little kids, we already went to those cruises. And while as kids, it was all about getting that kind of a candy you don't even get to buy, eat, whatever in these kind of cities. Later on, as adults, it becomes more like, hey, let's go drinking and buy some tax-free beer and just kind of a party that 24 or more like 22 hours when the boat is off the shore and the party starts happening. So when it comes to my experience with Nordic metal cruises, which I have taken part of a few times and saw some good bands as well, I can say that the concept is very good, because imagine it's like almost 24 hours nightclub but filled with metalheads. And of course, on top of that, you get to see these bands. So if you're bored with the bands, you get to go and do a little bit metal karaoke with the bands. I'm allergic to that stuff. Or just drink with your friends, somewhere, taking a look at outside when you see the seaside and all that stuff, those islands, archipelago and all that stuff. Or just, I don't know, go to spa and enjoy yourself like some good time while you're off your normal daily routines. There's so many ways I would like to, mention about why these cruises are so fun and so good to do. But the bands really nail it. Even if they are not your favorite bands, the combination of enjoyable cruises with interesting people and interesting bands, I mean, what else you can really go for? My advice is go and join us for Kaamos Metal Cruise. And by no means, this is not a paid advertisement. That goes the first part of the video, which you probably already see. I'm just talking from my perspective about the whole concept of these cruises. So consider myself a fan. And it's just a metal cruise on a boat. What else could be better? So maybe see you there. You will find all the necessary information like tickets and bands and whatever on this site. And if you need something else, I can likely answer your questions. So drop me a comment in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Well, I hope to see you there at Kaamos Metal Cruise. Take care.